This is WShadows and welcome back to a brand new video. I have a special treat for you guys. As of a few days ago, I started getting some comments and some messages of people on stream saying that they would like to see, they just had some questions about the rotation and everything, especially specifically related to the Annihilator no collapsing star build that I have been playing. So for that reason, today I am here to make a guide on two kinds of rotations for Annihilator, one being the DPS rotation on with and without metamorphosis, everything that leads up to it, and the smartest plays to do, truth be told. And second of all comes the mobility rotation. So the first one is more important, and this is, I guess, when you're dealing with casters and people that can, kick you from afar. The second one being a bit more with melees, but it's important for both. So for that matter, let's get started. We have over here, this is the build that I have been playing for most of the time. I've started playing with Collapsing Star as well, and we're gonna get a video on that as well at another moment. But currently we're only doing the no Collapsing Star with and without Surrender to the Void. In both cases it's pretty much the same. So here's what we do. The damage here, if you're not playing with Collapsing Star, comes mostly from obviously Devour, your Reaps, and the instant cast of Consume and Devour that you're getting from Beacon, and Void Ray. Basically just stacking up a bunch of haste and spamming Consumes for 6 digits and just pumping. The problem with that is that unfortunately you have to cast a bit more than you would have if you were playing Collapsing Star. So the way we counter that, since we don't want to get kicked too much, is by using our instacasts and unkickable abilities as much as we can. In this case, the only thing we have that's unkickable is, once again, Reap, the instacast of Consume, and Void Ray. So it's important that we get the absolute best rotation out of it so it can keep pumping as much as possible and minimize the time in which we're actually hard casting Consumes. So the way to do that is, we just started a round, okay? Right now we're gonna say that we just jumped into the arena and solo shuffle, and we're starting the round. First things first, from the very first few seconds, start a soul immolation. You're already starting at 25 souls, just from the talents that we have, and we want to already start pushing those. So one soul immolation, you have 2 stacks in 30 seconds. It's a very short cooldown, so use it right off the bat to get a little bit of fury and a few extra souls. So we start the rotation with Reap, the instacast that we got, another Reap, the instacast that we got, Soul Immolate, throw in 1 Consume, and you should already have a Void Ray. You shoot the Eradicate, Consume, Reap, Consume, Void Ray, Soul Immolate, Eradicate, Consume, Reap, Consume, Void Ray. So this is pretty much the rotation at all time. You want to make sure you use all of your stacks of Reap and Eradicate that you get at all time. We've casted like what, 1 hard cast Consume. Granted, we're hitting 3 targets at all times with Void Ray, but we haven't had to hard cast Consume. And once you get Metamorphosis, you hit Eradicate 1 more time so you can get the Consume, and if possible throw in 1 more Void Ray. This is cool interaction, I guess, a cool way of min-maxing your damage, because then you turn into Void Metamorphosis and you start casting. You have an insta-cast Devourer with all the extra damage from Metamorphosis, and you also have an Eradicate. Oh, sorry. You also have an Eradicate. Now I didn't have it, but earlier you should have, which gives you another Devourer, then another Cull, then another Devourer, then a Void Ray. Eradicate, Consume, Eradicate, Consume, Immolation, throw in 1 Devourer if you have to, Reap, Consume, Void Ray, Metamorphosis, Consume, not Metamorphosis, sorry, Eradicate, Consume, Reap, Consume, and you keep rotating on and off like this. And what I do, some people have also asked me about this, sometimes, in a lot of cases, people don't really give a shit about us. I do not understand why we're one of the classes that, like, if undealt with, we're gonna be pumping the most damage in the game. So them not kicking us is completely ridiculous, yet it still happens. We take advantage of that, which means that if there's times where you don't have, for example, there's the classes you're facing don't have range kicks, and the pressure isn't being put on you, you're more than welcome to spam like 60 Consumes in a row. Like, these Consumes are doing an ungodly amount of damage. and you're gonna be having like some crazy haste. So for that matter, let's just go ahead and build back up to 100 souls. Once again, reap, consume, void ray, use a stack of eradicate to get another reap, consume, reap, consume, void ray. You want to have your insta cast and your insta cast of consume and your reaps be used at all times. This is like the best way to min-maxing our damage and avoid casting consume as much as possible. Once you're gonna get to higher ratings, obviously you're gonna get into people who are gonna deal with you. But like, I mean, I've gotten to 2700 plus, and there's a lot of lobbies in which people just straight up ignore me. Now, like as I was saying, if you're allowed to free cast a bunch of consumes, please go ahead, because this allows us to get Voidfall Meteors. Every hit of consume has like a 20 or 30% chance to get you a stack of Voidfall, and once you get through 3 Voidfalls, there we go. Another stack of 3 Voidfall Meteors on top of an augmented reap. So there's a lot of times where just spamming reap will objectively be better. Not reap, sorry, consume. Spamming consume at times might be better than you know, rotating a little bit in between the skills. Once your fury is starting to get low while on metamorphosis, because with surrender to the void, your metamorphosis lasts for quite a bit. Look how many, we're already at almost 20% extra haste. Now our fury is starting to go low. You want to start to rotate in some soul emulations. You can go back to spamming reap so you can gather the souls, and void ray as often as possible to maintain it as much as possible, and then you keep rotating. We have 25% extra haste at this point. Every single consume takes like what, less than a second to go in, and a lot of them will hit for 6 figures. So if you think about it, in pretty much 5 seconds you can land about 500,000 damage if, you know, everything lines up properly. And if you're not playing with Surrender to the Void, you're playing with Armor of Souls or something like that, which I occasionally do as well. It's the same thing really, except it just takes, you know, 50 souls instead of 100. You do a little bit less damage, but you get it a bit quicker, a lot quicker, I would have to say, at least. So yeah, this is it in terms of the DPS rotation. It's pretty straightforward. To sum it up again, you want to use your insta-cast as much as possible. Avoid hard casting consumes, because a kick will just nullify your damage for the next 5-7 seconds, depending on what kicked you, especially if it's a caster. So this is the way to go about it, really. The most optimal way. You're building up your souls, and you're avoiding casting consumes that can be interrupted and then screw you over. So I hope that answers the questions in terms of the rotation. If you have any questions, please let me know. I think a lot of you have seen that we've been pretty active in the comments. A lot of people have been having questions about a specific detail or another, so please let me know if you have any doubts. I will be in here. You can also message me on Discord or anything. I'm more than happy to talk. You can also find me on Twitch at WShadows, where we're streaming live games, and we're always pushing for higher and higher. We just recently hit rank 1 with Devourer. Now I want to hit rank 1 on NA period. So it's gonna be fun. Hope you stick around. But we're not done yet. We have one last thing to do, and that is the mobility rotation. All right, so for the sake of this demonstration, I had to find one of the closest rares we had nearby. So for that matter, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna pretend that this bloated Snapdragon over here is just a melee trying to do unspeakable things to us, sexually related unspeakable things to us in solo shuffle. So for that matter, this is pretty much a mobility rotation I have in solo shuffle, and it's important to optimize it as well as possible, because there's a very big difference between using all 3 of your vengeful retreats plus glimpse, FYI, and all 3 of your shifts plus your void portal, spatial rift, whatever, if you're playing void elf at just random times. You do not want to be caught in the moment where a rogue gets to, you know, fucking smoke bomb you, and you have a trinket but you don't have any teleports. They're just stuck there. You trinket, and while you're still stuck in the smoke bomb, when you want to be able to blink out of it or vengeful retreat it. So the way I usually go about it is we start the game. The first blink, the first shift, I use aggressively to get close to my enemies ASAP. Maybe set up a nice little Void Nova opener or throw a glaive. So for that matter, bam, we start. Remember the rotation, start with the insta-cast as much as possible. The melee got to me. The first ability I use, Vengeful Retreat. He's catching up to me again. I use Void Blade. and hop out. Void Blade you can even use to another person instead of the same person. You can use it to their healer or something like that and go all the way behind them, giving you effectively a rush, a charge, whatever you want to call it. So anyway, you use Void Blade, you use the first Vengeful Retreat, then you use a second one as well if needed, or you can just store it for a bit later if it's absolutely needed. And then after that, you start throwing your blinks. You throw in one more blink if needed. He's staying on you. You keep DPSing in the meantime. Send over a spatial rift across the map, do some damage, teleport. In the meantime, you should have one more blink ready.
Too far
More
away.
damage. Vengeful Retreat. Then another blink.
I must get closer.
Then Void Blade again, Vengeful Retreat, and Vengeful Retreat. And that's pretty much the rotation, the order in which you want to use it. You want to try and get as much usage out of every single one of your mobility movement abilities, because objectively, this is like one of the best tools that we have. You can just constantly backflip, you can just constantly, you know, move left and right and avoid a lot of CC if you're glimpsing and stuff properly. So this is pretty much the optimal way. What you don't want to do is, for example, still have a stack of Vengeful Retreat, and your opener, you don't want it to be Void Blade, for example, because you're literally wasting an extra stack of glimpse. So effectively, make sure you use the first Vengeful Retreat before you Void Blade. Make sure you use, if you have all 3 stacks of your shift, feel comfortable to use them. Feel comfortable to use at least one of them, so in the meantime, they can go back up while you're doing your rotation. I hope that makes sense. This is pretty much how I play Annihilator. I don't know. I don't think it's very much different than the other high-rated players, so I think this is pretty much what it comes down to. Most of them play Void Scar, as far as I can tell, and a lot of you guys play Void Scar, so yeah. Please let me know what you think about it. Personally, this Annihilator just goes really hard. I really love the playstyle a lot more. I've started throwing in Collapsing Star as well. And we've been doing some crazy builds. There's going to be a lot of videos coming out on that soon as well. Anyway, I hope you found the video useful, and yeah, please let me know if you have any questions, any comments, any feedback. Make sure you follow me on Twitch as well as on TikTok, where we post the highlights of the stream. And yeah, thank you so much for watching, guys, and I'll see you soon. Take care.